Hi everybody, Danny from the House of I podcast here. Before we get into this podcast with the Drainouts, I just wanted to mention a couple of things they have coming up. So the Drainouts have Davy Jones, that song, they're releasing a video for it on Halloween, October 31st. So look out for that one. I also wanted to plug their Instagram and Facebook. You can find them on both those platforms at just Drainouts. It's not the Drainouts, it's just Drainouts. I'm sure you can still find it at the Drainouts, but just if you type in Drainouts, it'll come up. You can also listen to their singles Nectarine and Shot Me Down on Spotify. So check that out. And then for us, we have a gig with them, actually, with the Drainouts and Mold from Miami, November 23rd at the Hub. And then we're playing in Miami November 30th. With Las Nubes. We don't know the exact location yet. It might be at Churchill's, it might be somewhere else, but we're definitely playing on the 30th, so stay tuned for that, Miami. So before we get into the podcast, just wanted to give you a disclaimer. The audio is not the best. Unfortunately, our hard drive hasn't been doing that great, so it was stopping the whole time we were recording, and I didn't want to end the conversation basically or just scrap it all. So you're basically getting the raw audio from what I plugged into the cameras, which isn't the best, but it's there, and you can still at least understand what we're talking about. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. Please share it, please subscribe, please like it, comment, do whatever it is, and thank you so much. Peace.
Yeah, you shot me down. Yeah, you shot me down. Yeah, you shot me down.
Welcome to the House of I podcast. Today we have a very special guest. We've been trying to have them on. Now you're blocking me, Ellie. Which we've been trying to have them on for a while. The Drainouts. Thank you guys for coming, man. Yeah. I mean, you can clap like real men,
Oh yeah.
Actually,
Sandwiches. I'm gonna take that too much.
But yeah, man, I'm super glad to have you guys. We just finished recording 2 of your songs. Which ones were those?
The first one was Cops Push Mongo.
Yeah.
And then the second one was Project B.
Yeah. Dope. So Project B was the one that I specifically announced that I fucking super duper dig the shit out of that song.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
You can't see it, but underneath the table, Dylan's getting a little excited.
He's getting a little hard?
That's Dylan's song, yeah.
Oh, it is for real?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, it reminds me, well, I don't know, I wonder if you would think this, but it reminds me of the Pixies a little bit, the structure of the song. You get what I'm saying?
Definitely, and it's the very loud, quiet structure of the Pixies.
Who are the Pixies?
Get the fuck out right now.
I should slap you right now.
Get the fuck out.
No, but actually, I just saw this the other day while you're on YouTube. There's a Pixies documentary on YouTube. It's called
Loud, Soft, Loud?
Yeah. I just watched it the other day.
Good stuff.
Really good.
Yeah.
I saw it the other
I
day.
think the first time I even met you,
That's a good way to describe their sound, man. It's like...
Yeah, it's perfect. It's good stuff. Hey, sorry.
Go ahead.
No. I was just saying, the first time I think we met at your place, you I think I got there earlier than everyone else, and then you played the Pixies for me for a long time.
Sounds about right.
For days.
Stop with the Sonic Youth already. We're not.
It was Sonic Youth. Dan literally texted me. He's like, dude, are you almost here?
I just listened to
Dylan's drowning in Sonic Youth.
Oh, maybe before.
I can corroborate that it was Sonic Youth.
It was?
I was there for some of that too.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
It's actually one band that I've tried to listen to, and for some reason, they just haven't hit with me yet. I don't know.
I'd say you're doing it the right way. I'd say that means it's working.
Well, it's funny that you say that too, because actually that's an interesting question. So, do you find that more compelling music, you tend to have to listen to it a couple times before you realize oh, this is actually dope?
Sometimes, but there's some songs that I feel the first 30 seconds I'm already smashing the like button on Spotify. You know what I mean?
Question then.
Hit me.
Do you find that now, that's easier for you to recognize now rather than when you were younger? Because I feel that I actually find that to be the case with myself. I find myself not really having to listen too much nowadays. I tend to like things instantly. For example, when I first heard you guys, I was I fucking like this shit. You know what I'm saying? But like honestly, like back in the day, it took me forever to get into like Radiohead, the Beatles. Like I only like certain songs, and then like slowly but surely started to get into.
It's crazy. I actually started really liking shit way more easy around the time I turned like 21. I don't know if there was some kind of.
I would agree. I think that the older I got, it was easier to just be like yes or no.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, like I feel like everything was kind of like, all right, yeah, cool. And then it's just like as I got older, I was like pickier, I guess.
See, my take on it is like if I hear something and I fall in love with it immediately, I almost like fall in love with that song, and that becomes like the song I like from that band. And bands that are like more of a slow burn that I'm just like more exposed to over time, those become like some
Then you get really into.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they might not have grabbed you right off the bat, but you keep circling back to them, and that becomes like one you're always listening to on repeat.
Yeah, I think like I don't know. A lot of times it comes down to like just full on records and albums. A lot of times, like I'll be like into like a few songs really fast, but like once I get into like enough songs of an album, I'm like I should give the whole like record a good listen to. You know, like front to back.
You guys still listen to like albums like length?
Yeah.
Sometimes, most
Yeah.
often.
Yeah, like that. Like
I feel like that's not usual these days with all the streaming.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's
not,
what I'm
it's
saying,
not,
yeah.
I mean,
our
like,
attention spans have just been shrinking.
I mean, like once I like I don't know, once I do like the 30-second rule on like a few of the songs, if it's like more than 2 or 3 songs for an album, I'm like okay, the whole album's probably
Clearly, yeah.
If it's like one song, it's like all right, cool, and the rest of them like don't pass the 30-second rule. I'm like, you know.
I also
You know.
commute though.
Yeah,
So
I went
drive
for a
in
long
St. Pete
drive
to
from this
Tampa
one.
every day, so I love just finding it. Usually it's like an album and a half for me to get each way to work. So
Yeah, that's what you typically listen to like while you're driving.
all the time.
Okay.
And then I work a boring desk job, so while I'm at work, I usually like on one of my 3 monitors just have like YouTube pulled up, and I'm always just watching like live sets. Because I like that even more than like listening to albums. I'll just watch, in the background, have like a 2-hour live set of, I don't know, Sonic Youth live in Germany in '96. If you're gonna
I wish that I could do that, man. I have to watch YouTube while I drive like a jackass.
speaker.
Not even. I'll just like have it like kind of like mounted on my steering wheel, like while I don't know. I watch a lot of like documentaries and stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
But like upside down.
No, not always. Not always.
Sideways.
Do you turn screen rotation on at least?
I don't know. Usually, if I'm like busting a turn, I like kind of. That's when I like glance up and like. Yeah.
Super responsible.
Older man mows down the entire family.
Yeah, but I learned about the bullfrog, so that's
What's the bullfrog?
Both? Yeah, what is that?
It's like a frog that's like.
You mean literally like the animal, the bullfrog? Like music.
There's more to the story.
You didn't learn about no fucking band called Bullfrog. That'd be a good name for a band. Bullfrog.
That's a Beatles song.
So what did you
for
learn
sure.
about a bullfrog,
Man, I don't
bro?
even remember. That was like so many.
Years ago.
Yeah.
I remember that. Man, I don't know.
It's a frog.
It's a frog.
It's an amphibian.
It's pretty large. Like it just kind of came. It was one of those things that I didn't really click on. It just kind of came up.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of how it's made too.
Okay, those are cool.
I learned
too.
how candy cans are made the other day. Me and Matt got caught on a binge of them.
It's actually
in my house.
I watched one on sprinkles, and they are so much more complicated than I ever would have
Right.
thought.
Right? It's crazy, man.
It's
Yeah.
wild.
I love that show
Sprinkles?
too.
Sprinkles.
How shit's made, man.
How is that?
Awesome.
Do you remember how it's made?
It's been a while. It's complicated. I'm not gonna occupy viewer time. Sprinkles.
I mainly just toss it
Next
on and try to
question.
fall asleep. It works.
It is the best too.
Because I literally don't care about how this is made. Right?
I don't know, gears or some shit, probably, right? The answer to all of it.
A machine.
Machines within. All right, so I do have questions for you guys. So, Dylan, you've been on already, and you're welcome to.
Now you can just dip.
Okay, cool. So, where are you guys from? And you guys can start however you'd like.
Alright, I guess I'll start then.
Dan.
I'm from originally like Northern Virginia, Washington DC area. And then went to all dudes military boarding school for high school in Central Virginia,
Hot.
near Charlottesville, and then finished up that and went back up to Northern Virginia, and then moved down here like a year ago.
Why?
Why did we move down here? So wife now, girlfriend at the time, I was finishing up college.
Congrats. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
So my wife
Drainout could not be here.
my wife already finished, and she did a pretty sweet job. But Northern Virginia is like super affluent, really busy, and all like it's all federal government work, which I really wasn't that interested in. So we kind of had an agreement where, like, you know, if I found a job that made enough money for us to move in a cool area, then we would just do that. Mm-hmm. And she, you know, she was searching. It was kind of like a race. Like, you know, whoever gets like the better gig in the cooler area is where we're gonna go. And we already had some friends down here, so we were kind of hitting Tampa pretty hard and like flooding the market with our resumes.
So you like visited here multiple times before?
Yeah, like we had friends that lived down here for like, I think it was like maybe a year and a half, 2 years or something like that. So we had come down previously to visit them, and then honestly, like, moving down doing the music stuff, like, didn't even know there was this big of a music scene. Like, we went down and saw some Grateful Dead cover bands, and we're like, oh wow, like, you know, we moved down just for that because we're big Deadhead fans.
Oh really?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So we were like, I don't know, that was enough for us to move. Just like I don't know, all the cool cover bands.
Yeah.
And in DC, there's like very little live music, and the live music there is I don't think all that good.
I find that kind of crazy too. Like, you would think it'd be better in a bigger city.
Right.
No,
You know
it's
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
it's really transient in the area. So like we were kind of talking about this earlier. Is that, like, when people move in there for like whatever contract they're working on for the government for a few years and then they leave. So there's no real like the culture.
Yeah, no one stays long enough to create
like,
a scene.
Yeah, like the culture is like
there is no culture.
transient. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like the whole culture is like who can go there and be like super trendy and then leave. Or like if you want to do music stuff that's not, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
doesn't
not the
really
same.
go very well.
Yeah,
to
you
do,
wouldn't
like,
want that.
Yeah. It's like the bands I was playing up there, like we would play, like, I don't know, we'd like get like an alright show and it'd be like pretty good night at our bar and like they would come out. But that's also what
So let me get back to that. Go ahead, Blake. You go next.
What? Where are you from? I'm just from like I guess like St. Pete, more specifically like Seminole area, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much I guess where I'm from.
Okay, so you've lived
born and bred.
St. Pete.
you've lived here basically your whole life.
Yeah. No, I honestly love it though. It's pretty cool. It's a good spot to grow up. I mean, you got the beach, you got a lot of traffic all the time. It's really hot, but if you like,
Price when calm you down.
if
You
you
like
like those.
sell us on it right now.
Yeah, I know, you're really selling it hard, dude. Mind you, I'm from Florida as well, so.
Oh yeah, you already know that. Yeah, it's, but it's cool. There's Busch Gardens. That's kind of neat. I've got a pass.
How about you, man?
right now. You got a pass.
Hit me up.
Drop the DM.
I've been in Florida my whole life, mostly just the Bay Area. We moved around a lot as I was growing up, but always in Florida. Yeah. Yeah, which I always like hated. I hated Florida, but now that I'm doing the music stuff and like, I don't know, it's cool. It's cooler than I thought it was when I was like 13. You know.
I kind of, I've had the same kind of thing too, where now it's like, well, shit, there's actually something cool happening here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, maybe Florida isn't so bad.
Yeah.
You know, which is nice. But
The Bucks are.
well, I don't follow the Bucks. I follow the Dolphins, which are even worse.
Which is worse.
Yeah.
I grew up a Dolphins fan, which is why I no longer follow football.
Yeah.
It's too sad.
It is sad, dude.
If you flip that table, though, we're number one.
You guys see the video of that dolphin trying to hump that woman?
The
And then they
Dolphins.
compared it to the Miami Dolphins.
No, I just
Oh, okay.
thought it was. You said
Because
dolphin.
You should though.
Aren't they like really sexually aggressive?
Dude, I just saw it.
Seriously, like,
They're like
Yeah, no, they
dolphins in
are.
general.
They're the
Other
only-
than humans,
It's
is the
true,
only
it's true.
animal that like has sex for
Rapes.
pleasure.
Yeah, that
Nice,
rapes. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Dolphin
Yeah.
rape.
dark.
I saw the video of it.
That should be the name of like y'all's next album,
Duh.
Dolphin Rape.
That should be the name of our next.
somebody write it
I
down.
think that's
Go ahead, tattoo it.
Dolphin Rape.
great idea. We're gonna sleep on it, but we're considering other options.
But the answer's no.
But no.
Sorry, it's travels.
So then, okay, so going back to you, Dan. So moving here to Florida, then you mentioned like the scene. Oh, I guess rather there is a scene, then there really isn't one at all in Virginia.
I mean, so like Virginia as a whole, yes. Like Charlottesville's really cool. Richmond's very cool. A lot of good bands out of both those areas. Like awesome bands out of both those. But the Northern Virginia and DC area, not so much. And if there was one, like I couldn't find it. Like, so.
But to have a bunch of bands be like, dude,
like
fuck you.
Yeah, that dude doesn't know shit.
Starting to play more.
But no, I mean like I don't know. Richmond's like an hour and a half with little traffic from Northern Virginia. Charlottesville's 2 hours. But yeah, like I don't know. Like I was playing in a band up there for like 5 years, like the same band. We hit it pretty hard, and we were recording frequently and like trying to play out live as often as we could. And there was nothing to like break into really. Like I don't know. I guess like the coolest spot in DC is like anywhere on U Street, and like the biggest shows that we had were always based around like other events, which is I guess typical with most bands. But like it was like St. Patrick's Day.
Were you not touring with them?
No.
Because okay, so I guess that kind of leads into another question that I have. Like, what are you guys' opinion on basically like Florida? I don't think many people see Florida as like a place to stop for music, right? Now there is a scene growing, but compared to like bigger cities like New York, Austin, California, it's not really considered like a music hub, for example. That'd be dope if it turns into that. I just don't know what's going to happen.
Hot and out of the way.
I mean, I don't know. I was kind of talking to the guys from Frankie and the Witchfingers about this after we played with them last Saturday or last Friday, and I don't know, like even though like a lot of people like kind of skip Florida, they hit like I don't know, like they just kind of skip around and go straight to Georgia. I think as like coming from a dude that came from a city where I couldn't find any music scene, I think it's kind of cool that there is one enough here to be like kind of
Dude, it self-sustains, man. Like that's what I was gonna say. I almost like don't even really care if no one knows about it, because like I know about it and it's fucking awesome. So it's like,
yeah, and that there's something to that.
Every Friday, Saturday night at either St. Pete or Tampa, there's like at least 3 shows,
like
and I'm like having to choose.
Over which shows.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I'm at like more than one. It's at all of us. And it's awesome. It's a great problem to have.
Is that a new thing, or has that been the case for? So you're the only one that's been, or you two have been here. I'm from Miami, so I have no idea. Has it been like that, or is this new?
I mean,
it's been like that at least as long
as I've been like going, like searching for it. It's been around. I mean, there used to be even more venues over on our side of the bay in St. Pete. I mean, they're closing down now. Like 662 closed.
Yeah, like 600
Food
block.
Bar.
Yeah, Food Bar closed. I mean, a bunch of like house venues closed, but more opened up. Like I guess that's just the nature of the house venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still think it's like an unequal displacement. We definitely lost a lot more than we've gained.
At the same time, though, St. Pete and Tampa, by extension, it's just like a really artsy city. You got a bunch of like museums here, a bunch of like arts, like music.
Yeah.
Powerful gay community that definitely like drives all that and like helps support it too. So
I think it's the second biggest Pride Parade outside of San Francisco.
Really.
Fact check.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
Google, let's bring it up right now.
Huge.
But yeah, it's like a city built on like art.
We got that.
It's kind of like a countercultural, like hippie city.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so because in my and I've explained this multiple times.
Nice.
But like in Miami, at least to us, like there wasn't really like a huge scene down there, and moving here, like I feel like we just recently like discovered.
Like tapped in.
Dude, I always see these dank bands coming out of Miami though, and that's one of the places that we really want to play, man. We're going to see like Jacuzzi Boys next week. They're from Miami.
Yeah.
Las Rosas, you played with them.
Is that
Las
actually
Nubes.
Or Las Nubes, yeah, but Las Rosas
is a venue.
Another band.
No, it's a venue. It's a venue.
It's
It's a band too.
Look at
Oh shit!
But yes, I'm at Las Nubes. They're killer, man. I got 2 blasted at before that. I apologize.
Wait. The show at the hub?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
you did too.
about it.
Me and Dan fucking passed out in the back of Matt's car.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I
all
saw
three.
some
I think like all three of us like violently.
You just got a photo.
That's okay. It was a good time, man.
I held it all in. And was very
Dude,
photos.
that was a great night though. That was like it was fun. Like I'm obviously glad that you guys were there for that because that was a really fun show. And we're playing there November 23rd.
There we are.
Yeah, that's gonna be
It's
fucking.
my first time playing the hub. I'm stoked.
Really?
Yeah.
You gotta watch out at the hub, man. They pour the drinks.
They
pour the
do.
drinks like there's
That's
no
just
goddamn
ridiculous.
tomorrow.
Dude,
Oh yeah.
they don't fuck
Best
around.
place.
Dude, I went in the women's bathroom
but-
twice. Neither
Really?
time on purpose.
Maybe you just wanted to do that.
I don't want to see that, man. I don't know.
Maybe you're supposed to be a woman for appearance.
Could be a good time.
Well, damn,
Your options open.
we just fucking knocked out some 2 questions there that I had. Okay, so then how did you guys meet as a band?
Well,
Craigslist.
yeah, pretty much.
I'd say that's like,
Really? Craigslist?
I'll tell the story.
It's
Go
like
for it.
cooler
I'll
than
stop
that,
fiddling. Sorry.
Stop fiddler.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I used to be in this other band around here, and we all kind of wanted to do different styles of music. So I put out an ad on Craigslist for what I was personally trying to do. I was like, look, I know a lot of people. I've got gear. I listed a bunch of bands that I like and stuff, and then all 3 of these dudes hit me up. I already knew Matt and Dylan just from playing in their other bands, the Manic Episodes and Liquid Pennies and like the 8 other bands, Sketchy, like the 10 bands Dylan's in or been in over the years, And then Dan hit me up and we got Applebee's together and got blasted, and then I was like, dude, we got along.
Perfect fit.
Yeah, it was really funny because I was over at a friend's house and I was like looking for gear, and then I like clicked over into the musicians section and I saw the ad and I read it and I said to my friend, I'm like, whoever wrote this, I'm going to know them. Like, this list of bands is so obscure yet specific.
It was so funny, dude. He responded
And
like a
it was the
professional,
night-
like,
No, but
hello, I'm Dylan Carney. I play in Logan. I was like, dude, I got drunk with you like on Wednesday. Come over.
the duality of my life comes out.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we did. That was a raunchy night at the
Because I
Feds.
posted it anonymously. Like, I didn't reveal that.
But that was the night of Longfinger's last show, so I was like going to see his band in like 2 hours, and
I was there too.
So
we were all there?
That's crazy.
So that was my first so before, other than seeing like the Grateful Dead cover band, I first like tapped into like the local scene. Was seeing Blake was like, oh dude, like you should come see my band's last show. I was like, oh, okay, cool, and like went out and like so like literally like a lot of people that I met were at that show, and like that was my first time ever seeing any like live music in Tampa other than Grateful Dead.
That's crazy. I went there because Viewers was there.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's assuming you
Let me take
visit
30
them.
seconds to talk about my sponsor, Squarespace.
Squarespace.com. They literally send squares to your space.
God damn it, I hate sponsored videos.
Let's do
Where
it
it just
right
kind
now.
of breaks off into a really random thing. How was your childhood? So, this next part.
Okay, so as musicians, as artists, what goals do you guys have, like individually, as a band? That's it.
Okay. I think it'd be really sweet to quit my day job.
Okay.
I guess that's every artist's dream, right? Like,
I don't know about every. I think
no?
most, but
Most.
I think there's probably some that don't even care to show people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I'm sure
no,
there's those
that's
people
true.
out there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, they just do it for themselves. They don't care to expose it to like the public. They just do it because they like doing it. Whereas I guess I would assume we're all on the same page, but like we all want to eventually make this our full-time careers, you know?
But I feel like with like as a musician, there's like the art behind it and then like the performance aspect. And the performance aspect, I feel like, is where, as an artist, I'm like, oh, that's what I kind of want to make more.
That's my personal favorite side of the whole band thing, is the performance. Always. I mean, I love writing music. I love hanging out and like drinking beer and other band stuff, but like the performing, the actually doing it, I guess, is like the most fun, man.
Yeah.
When the performing, the answer. I don't even remember what's the question.
You answered
Well,
it,
basically, yeah, goals. Basically, like, what goals do you have? Like, have you said to yourself that...
Pay off my student loans.
Okay. That's a good one. That's solid.
Just somebody
Solid.
get them to drop.
Well, that's interesting then. So then, do you find the recording process like arduous?
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead, bro.
Matt.
It's just
I just play root notes, so I'm
No, you don't.
My recording process is easy.
What are you talking about,
Basically.
dude?
The most exciting part for me is just like when you're practicing and you come up with a new idea and you're coming up with it in the moment. That's the coolest part for me. And the like recording, like it never sounds as good as it does, I think, when we're just playing it live. That's when it's the most
just
fun.
in your own head.
Or just in your own head, yeah. It's like it, or just like shitty cell phone recordings. Like it never seems to have the same energy, so it's always like anticlimactic.
Matt, I feel like is always the hardest to please. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
Followed by Dan.
But also, goddamn, man, he writes like some of my favorite riffs and like in the band, like the Nectarine riff, dude. He sent me that.
This is a funny story.
He sent me that to my Craigslist post.
But I sent it to you like a year before.
So a while ago, when I was originally thinking about quitting my old band, I like put an ad out there. I was like, you know, I'm trying to make like I guess like surf rock or like something kind of chiller, psych. I don't really even know, whatever. But he sent me a demo of what would later become our song Nectarine in this band. But I was like, holy crap! Like this is so cool, you know. And then we talked a little bit via the Craigslist email. But then my band had a show at the Orpheum with his band that he was playing drums in at the time. So I didn't even like put two and two together that he was. I already had his number saved in my phone as like Matt from Craigslist.
You didn't know that he was.
I didn't know that
guy.
he was Matt from Craigslist. I thought he was just Matt like from whatever.
Yeah, from that band.
Yeah.
From like Life.
Yeah.
Right?
Which was a Manic episode.
So
which
Proud
is,
Miranda.
yeah.
Yeah, it's Proud Miranda. So he was in a band with the
Proud
Miranda
Miranda
chicks.
plus Matt was the Manic episodes.
Yeah.
That was sweet. That was really cool.
And then so like.
So when I was putting the Drainouts together and Matt came to the last Longfinger show, he was like, hey, so like, you know, are you still looking for more like guitar, like musicians for that? And I was like, oh, you know, I knew him as a drummer from the last band. So I was like, oh, we need a guitarist. And Matt's like, oh, you know, I dabble a little bit. I play guitar, being the humble bastard that he is. And,
Exactly.
and I was just like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I'll let you know, like, you know, because I know him as a drummer. And then he sent me like the same demos, and I was like, damn it, man, like we could have been doing this for like 6 months. Like,
It's actually funny too because the first time that we met was at Circle, and then I knew that you were a drummer, but I didn't know. I'd never heard the Manic episodes before, but I knew that you were a drummer. And after we played, we were like breaking down our stuff, and you're like, hey man, like how long have you been playing? Which is always like I always figured like the thing of like yeah, I'll judge how good you are based off of your answer. And I was like, I don't know, man. You know, I've been playing like for a long time, like since like fifth grade or whatever. You know, oh, dude, sick. And we finished packing up gear. I remember driving home and be like, damn, man, he's probably like an awesome drummer. Like totally was like absolutely unsatisfied with how I played and everything like that.
No.
Well, all three of you were
Unfortunately.
drummers originally, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like,
Dan's
I never
the drummer.
evolved. I never evolved from that. I just like stayed the drummer. But yeah,
I got nothing on Dan.
Yeah,
I
no,
can
I'm
keep a
not
beat
even-
and I
I
can do
can't
like,
even
you know,
call
basic
myself.
shit. I can do 3, 4, but like,
Can't even call myself really a drummer.
got nothing on Dan though.
And Dan's a whole
Dan's
other
nuts.
animal.
And he's got the lip thing. I can't do the lip thing at all. When he gets in there, he's like,
I do have that going for me. Yeah.
Oh, the
I love it. He's got the full
Yeah,
Every time I turn around, I want to like put a
yeah.
little like cigar in his mouth. It's like,
You should literally do that without telling him.
I mean, you know.
It's awesome.
Yeah, but now he'll know to receive it.
On one of the breaks for your song, just
Because like I don't know, like it's one of those like you don't want to make like when I was younger playing and stuff like that. People was like, you make like super weird faces, and I was like, okay, I need to like stop doing that.
No.
And then I self-pushed myself like one time playing, and I was like, totally like nothing, and I was like, oh god, you know, I gotta like do something then. And I guess the lip formed.
My special move is just getting really sweaty. Like, I don't know why.
That's
man.
mine too.
I don't know how I get so
Yeah.
goddamn sweaty.
Dude, I get like I'm drenched. Like, I mean, I sweat just normally, just like I'm not right now, but usually
I
just.
mean, he's sweating right now.
I think
he's
my-
lying
I am
to you
sweating.
guys
My feet
right
are
now.
sweating right now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I just get too jacked up on like fucking the Bang energy drinks and like 2 Cialis, and I'm just like, it's crazy, dude. And it adds like a natural vibrato to my voice, which kind of works out.
That's why you do it.
But I'm like constantly out of breath.
That's the equation.
300
What's the
milligrams
exact
caffeine,
amount? Of,
250 milligrams of Cialis.
It's gonna make it that much funnier when he dies of an overdose.
It's gonna be nuts, man.
I'm not gonna lie, I might laugh. I
What
might
is
laugh.
Cialis for again?
Just partying, man. Lock your medicine cabinets.
When Blake comes over to your house, lock your medicine.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Bro, the toothpaste is missing and the Cialis. Everything else is still here.
Dude, sometimes I can't tell when you're being serious or you're just fucking around. Like, do you really take?
Never being
Do you really take Cialis?
Never being serious.
Do you really do that? In play?
Wait, steal medications from,
No, take Cialis.
from
You really
people's
do that?
fucking medicine cabinets, dude.
I hope not.
I don't think so, but it's been a dream.
What's on the next? What's the next question? Next question, please.
Dude, that would be hilarious. I'm sorry. Oh shit, that's so funny.
Dude, I want a microdose right now.
Oh shit. I'm sorry. I can't keep it together. I just can't. Well, I guess
That's so funny, though.
okay. So then, what do you guys think about like Florida in terms of? Do you feel that there's a possibility to break out without leaving per se? Like, do you think that you have to leave Florida in order to become something, or do you think you can stay here and do it from here and tour?
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers did it.
Mic
Case
drop.
in point.
Yeah, but they also play like.
You don't really feel like a do. That's what he sounds like to me. I love
Dude,
Tom
that's
Petty.
Elton John, dude.
Pretty good though. Elton John.
That's Elton John.
I was singing some Elton John earlier.
Yeah, some
30
EJ.
Cent, Matt, yeah.
Yeah.
Some EJ too.
You're my brother. You are older than me. It's a good one. It's Daniel. You know it. You guys are both named Daniel. So.
We are D squared.
There we go.
But yeah, what do you think about that? Do you really
Personally,
question?
I feel like I don't really care because I feel like, dude, we're already playing like on the weekends and like I'm having a great time with it. I feel like if this is as far as it ever gets, that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like I love it. Like we can book tours and like go up in East Coast, West, whatever.
We've had a surprising amount of good reception for the little time we've been a band.
But I mean, but I also think like even this kind of like goes back to your other question with the goals. Like, I think like can you like maintain like that level of hype and not leave Florida? I think so.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in order to like there is other stuff to break into. And if you're getting good response in like a region, then there's like a good chance that we're gonna get good response.
Like where the hell else would we go? Like go to Nashville and like become cowboys, or go to fucking New York and just like.
Are you saying like
be a
permanently?
small
So, like,
fish
like,
in a big
relocate?
pond?
Yeah, just like relocate. Yeah.
Oh, to totally relocate?
Mhm.
I'm not relocating,
Yeah,
man.
no.
Same P, baby.
Really?
Yeah, not interested.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
No,
That's
I like
interesting.
it. I live like 5 minutes from the beach, man.
Yeah.
Where do you?
I thought you meant like going out to like tour there.
Oh yeah, we're gonna.
No.
That's
That's no. I'm saying because like there's the idea like I was mentioning earlier. Like Florida is not necessarily known as a music haven. You know, like the bands that you typically hear from breaking out are not from Tampa or like from Florida.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, even you said Tom Petty, but that's a specific genre of music that's very like easy to get into in my opinion. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's not like you guys where you guys are like that 60s surfer vibe. Like that's a specific genre of music that like you have specific fans for. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like his stuff is like considered like classic
Dude,
rock.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Soundgarden, Pixies, all from Florida.
I heard that on Wikipedia. I read that on Wikipedia. I don't know why you're laughing. That's a
Metallica.
fact.
The Beatles.
Beatles.
But
They're from Miami, Florida, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
I gotta
Miami.
get down there, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
You would
man.
probably love it down there. Yeah, I could
That's
see
where I saw
you
my
doing
first
that.
T-back bikini was in Miami.
T-back bikini?
T-back bikini, you know, the
T-Bat Mankini.
No, I don't know. Oh, you're talking about like
a
the
G-string.
Were the dudes are wearing
yeah.
thongs?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was a woman. I was age 15. I had to go back up to the hotel room after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, scarred
You're
my
like, this is
life.
enough.
Dylan knows what I mean.
One of the washcloths. Some poor cleaning lady had to scoop that up out of the room for you.
All right, bro.
But it's so we like kind of spoke, Matt and Blake. We spoke a little bit at Paper Crane. We're kind of talking about like music stuff. We're talking about the way music is kind of received, like genres of music, all that stuff. And that's kind of like why I'm asking, because I'm not trying to say that I think you have to leave Florida. I just think like I'm wondering if technology and I guess Spotify, that kind of thing, if that's enough. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I think it is.
Most people would argue that like being in Florida is hard to like get out because of how long it takes, for example, how far we are
Dude,
from like everywhere.
Gucci Mane dropped like 3 albums while he was in prison. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That's fair.
I think even like past all that, like, but you can still like tour through all that. You know what I mean? Like there are bands from the middle of nowhere that like just tour like crazy. And, like,
that's what I was gonna say. I feel like the main. I think the main point that these bands are trying to make is like you can be from somewhere, put stuff out now because the internet is fucking crazy. As long as you make yourself like accessible, like.
I don't know.
I'm still
like
willing
it's so
to.
much of a crapshoot. Like the music industry as a whole. Like, if you're from Florida and you think you want to move to break out, like you can move to LA, relocate.
It doesn't even have to be
4,
like
5 people.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think you have to.
What
move.
are the chances?
I don't think you have to move either. You just
I don't
gotta
think
get
you have to
yourself
move.
into someone.
Like you have to.
Ridiculous.
You just have to be okay with doing that.
I think it's all about the effort you put into it.
Well, and I think a lot of that too is like people like move to like a music city, for example, but then like, so let's say like the Bay Area here in Florida. So there's like ultimately like a lot of the bands I think are awesome, but like relatively unnoticed maybe by like other people in the country. But you like if you're a huge band here, you can be like a small fish in a really small pond. But if you move to like LA, for example, or Nashville, New York, then like all of a sudden just like you're just like any cred that you had in your area just like immediately goes away. And
That's what I'm
then
saying,
you're like
like-
starting from like ground zero. So it's almost better to like I think stay in your area and tour like crazy. And if someone's like, "Well, I've never heard of you," but like, "Dude, we're huge in Florida." And then like I don't know, I feel like you can kind of like carry some weight.
Dude, I almost feel like if one of the like Bay Area bands around here starts like blowing up, like everyone's gonna blow up around here because it's we have such a good thing going. You know what I mean?
I can agree with that.
That's interesting.
And it only takes the notice of like one. You know what I mean? Look at like LA, Seattle, New York. Those all started because like a handful of bands fostered this like
Just
huge
as hard
scene.
it is for them to get over here, I feel like it's the same thing. It's hard for us to get over there. It's the same thing. Like I think we're like bands over there and over here. We're kind of battling the same thing.
I just think it's
just you just got to keep going.
I think it's the grass is always greener on the other side mentality. Like you're gonna get there and then you're gonna be like, wow, there's like, yes,
California
a lot
has
of-
to be
a lot of people
California
are
has to
getting-
be saturated.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
let's say
disgusting.
like LA, for instance. Like
Yeah.
you move to LA and like let's say 100 bands got signed in like LA in 2019, right? But there's like 10,000 bands like in LA or something like that.
Yeah,
compared
your
to,
odds
like-
aren't good.
Yeah.
My only thing though with that is, like for example, I think both of our bands are dope enough that if that were the case for us, if we were to move to like New York or something like that, I think we would be different. Like I literally have not heard another band that sounds like you guys. I haven't. I can't think of one. I can't even tell you what your influences are. I can't. There's some bands
Because they're so all over the place between the four of us.
which is awesome, right? Because like there's bands that you hear, and I'm obviously like I'm not gonna name names or whatever, but like there's bands you hear that you're just like, oh, I know exactly where you're coming from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's like okay, I'll give you an example, like one that's already big or whatever, Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah.
Like they're to me like like they're just like a Led Zeppelin ripoff. Like they're not doing anything original. They're kind of like
Yeah.
like
I'd
riding
agree
those
with that.
coattails.
Dude, like,
I agree with
at
that.
least at that point, just be a cover band. Like you.
Yeah,
I think that's
Right.
they were. I think they were a cover band, and then someone was like, "Dude,
just do your own. Dude,
just write more Led Zeppelin songs."
Terrible.
Another thing that I think is fun about our sound, though, is it's like blatantly obvious cheesy music. Some of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
What do you
some of it is
mean?
just like dancey and like 3-part harmonies and like sing-songy and stuff, and like that might not be like the coolest thing to be playing, but I don't know,
But-
I think it gets a lot of attention because like a lot of people don't venture into that territory anymore. It's like not a style a lot of bands.
I don't know,
do.
man. I realize that.
I love it.
Here, you go ahead, Dan.
I mean, like, my take on it is a lot of that's by design. Like,
I agree, man. I don't give a
For
shit
sure.
if it's like cool, like what's cool, like music
No, I
that,
know.
like,
It's also
is
subjective.
catchy,
yeah,
like-
like,
It's like just so different, you know.
There's a
I
lot-
don't know any other bands playing that style.
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I listen to that, like, I don't know if I like crank it up in the car with the windows down. Someone will look like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit. You know?
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, but even I don't know a lot of stuff that rewrite. Like, I think it's kind of good to have the gamut that we do because there's songs that are a little bit like more out there or gnarlier, or faster, kind of like more punk rock that not everyone's into. But then we also have the stuff that I feel like would reach a larger crowd, which is I think the right. For me, like all the bands that I like, I feel
I think it's good to have a variety, and it
good
keeps it fun
blend.
for us too.
Yeah.
Like, and it keeps like I don't want to be painted into a corner of what our sound is. You know what I mean? I want to be able to have some options and some room to grow.
Yeah, no, being stifled would be the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Because then you, like, what's the fucking point? Honestly, like, what the fuck is the point?
But I
You
think
know?
we all bring something to the table tonally, like so different. You know what I mean? Like Matt plays like super bright, almost like poppy, like dreamy
I was gonna
guitar,
say like
very
a fairy.
like
Like a
surfy
fairy.
and-
Fairy guitar player.
It's like so sick. So to have him
Fairy licks.
out like high, like mixed loudly and in the front, to Dylan's like super like psychedelically influenced, like kind of like even like Sonic Youthy, like a lot of like noise and like
A lot of modulation
very
and
effects
fuzzes
and modulation
and,
and then Dan's like high energy drum.
Tight.
He's definitely tight.
Fucking tight.
I mean, it's just a cool combo.
And then you.
of sounds. I don't even know what the hell.
Yeah, I know you can't really say, you can't really talk about
I
yourself.
just play like normal bass. That's how I'm describing.
You don't, man. You
Yeah.
like okay. Let me say this then.
All right, describe it. I
So
wanna hear it.
your bass playing, in my opinion, it's one of the harder things to do because you're not playing simple bass parts, mind you, you're not, and you're also singing at the same time. Like that's like one of the hardest things in my opinion. I think playing bass and singing is even harder than playing guitar and singing, in my opinion.
I agree.
And I do that. I play guitar and sing, and like I've tried to do the bass thing and sing, and that to me is like you have to be so like on point with rhythm, and then you're also doing different rhythms with your vocals. Like literally, like your vocal rhythm is different from the bass playing that you're doing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And when you're playing guitar, it's usually the same.
I feel like
It's usually with
oftentimes
chords at least.
it like affects the fact that I am singing like affects my bass writing. Like I
So you're right to your singing.
sometimes I mean our songwriting process usually starts out as either like usually one of us send a demo and then the other and that'll be usually instrumental. If I send it, it probably will have some kind of like lyrics and shit on it too. And even when I do write, I usually write with like an acoustic guitar as opposed to a bass, only because I personally feel like it's easier to write the
Translate,
bass line
yeah.
once the song's a little more fleshed out. But yeah, and then from there we kind of just take it, jam with it, and like kind of structure it. And then once we have like all right, let's do like verse, chorus, like bridge, whatever. Then from there we'll kind of all discuss like, hey, like what do we want this song to be about, or sometimes we'll even do that at the beginning. We'll be like, oh, like let's make a song that kind of is like the sound of like surfing a fucking rainbow through space. What would that sound like?
Yeah.
And then we'll make that sound, and then I'll like be like, when I surfed a rainbow through space. You know what I mean? Like at the very end of all that bullshit.
Classic,
and just
right.
like some dumb shit, and then as we play, the lyrics will get tweaked. And then Matt and Dan or Dylan will come in with some like oohs and ahs, and then boom, drain out song. Easy.
It'll be
format.
cruising through.
Wham bam, throw 'em in the van.
rainbows.
That's how you write them.
Oh yeah,
Classic.
How many songs do you guys have right now?
like one.
No, you guys.
I think
Like one-
total it's like 12 or 13.
And how long you been playing for?
Less than a year.
Like 6 months or so.
Yeah.
You know how crazy that is? Like, do you realize how insane that is?
We have like another probably like 8 to 10
Like, on
in
the
like
back.
the
There's
so many
suit
like
that we've
handwritten songs
jammed
that are just,
on
like,
and just
yeah,
kind of
recorded
abandoned.
like a little.
we've
yeah.
done a ton of songs
Yeah.
kicking
Like,
around.
Probably could double the set list.
I feel like we're our own like highest critics, like because we'll like spend like 3 hours doing some shit, and then like we'll just be like, honestly, the song fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But then,
that's typical
Sure,
stuff.
yeah,
though.
that's
that's
usual.
usual.
You guys know.
But we usually try to like document it and like catalog it in some way, so that way like if like sometimes you're like jamming, you hit like kind of like a dry spot where everyone's like, I don't really have any ideas. You're like, oh man, it's like try this one song and like rehash it. And sometimes like the second listen, you're like, this one's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Some of them do grow.
That's a good
grow
idea.
on. And some songs that like we hate, like other people like, so we're just like, what does that mean?
Yeah, like,
You know what I mean?
okay, like, I guess we'll keep playing it.
yeah.
Yeah, but
That's a good one. I don't think we've ever done that. Like, I think that like House of I, we try a song and then like we reach a point where we're all like, fuck it, and we're like, scrap it. Like I feel like I kind of forget about a song entirely.
I think for me personally, that's just a test of whether the song was good or not. And if like no one's really feeling it, then I'm just like, oh, I guess it wasn't a good song. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I'm also like one to take forever to finish a song. So yeah.
But there are also things you can like I think we've done this on a few songs where like we would do it and like not really be into it, but then like change a few things around.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden,
Yeah,
you're like, oh,
revisit
okay,
it.
all right, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that's how the
Like that song Project B that you say you really like, dude. Like started as Dylan saying, like 3 of us were
Yeah, I
like
recorded
super
that
hot
like
on it
before
at the beginning.
Drainouts were ever a thing.
And but as it got more and more fleshed out, now it's like one of our favorite songs. It's like one of my favorite songs to play. You know what I mean? It's like and it usually gets pretty decent reception.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Well, I don't know. I wonder like if you, because the thing is like for myself, I've only been with House of I technically. I mean now I'm in more things, but like that's super recent. So for me, like I've only known when writing a song, it takes forever to like hash it out, forever for everyone write their parts to it. So like to see you guys be together for only 6 months and have, you said like around 13 songs. Like I don't know if you understand.
If we dedicated 3 or 4 practices, we could have another 8 songs.
Yeah.
we probably will.
Too.
Like pretty soon. Like we got a bunch that are like so
Really
close.
close.
Yeah, like back burnered.
Mainly just teetering on me, like just writing some lyrics.
That's
on
pretty
it,
fucking
honestly.
difficult.
I'm just trying to explain, like, I feel like you, I don't know if, I just feel like you don't understand this, but, like, that's crazy to me. Like, that's super impressive. And, like, also, like, the fact that you guys mesh so well, the fact that you guys are so tight, like, I think anyone that would see you would be surprised to find that you guys have only been together for 6 months.
Dude, I mean,
Appreciate it.
you guys are rad.
thank
Man.
you.
I love working with you. I feel like this is the first band that I've ever been in that we built from the ground up, based around the sound, as opposed to based around like musicians I know, and then finding a middle ground.
Right.
This one I specifically set out for, like, hey, this is the music I want to make, and these guys were like, that's the music that I want to make. And
Exactly.
Then, now that we're doing it, I feel like we're all super into it. So
That's cool.
I feel like it helps.
Yeah, it drives it forward, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's dope, man. That's great,
Because
yeah.
we're not like catering to each other's likes, because there's so much overlap. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like generally if I like a song, like these guys probably also like the song. So it's like,
what are some common influences that you guys have? Because I actually don't know, like, what kind of music you guys listen to that I might not be aware of.
well, I mean, we were talking about Pixies earlier. I love the Pixies. I feel like that one, to me, like when I listen to a lot of our shit, is like super obvious. So maybe I shouldn't even say it.
Constantly sending bands back and forth in the group chat. And I think like just today I sent a King Tough song earlier.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, dude.
I really like Jacuzzi Boys a lot. I've been getting into Guantanamo Baywatch a little bit. recently.
Sweet. Yeah, listen to a lot of them. A lot of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Nice.
Those guys are.
I'm always sending a different OC's album like every other week.
They're dope, too.
Fiddlar's first record, only.
Yeah, only.
I don't know. Second one's all right.
It'll
It's
do.
a listenable
It'll
album.
do. Not
But you guys sound like you're more
Waves.
into, like,
big
waves.
big waist fan.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are more into
I'm wearing
bands that are not
old
super
moon
popular
shirt.
either. You know what I'm saying?
It may not be like super popular, but they're popular like within
Yeah.
this band. like we're like, dude, like
Yeah.
I think the Pixies is a
which
good
is
example.
awesome.
Like they're not like, okay, they're not like crazy, but like the people that like the fucking Pixies are like really.
That's what I'm saying. Like the
fucking
people
big
that are
Like
that
cult
are in
classics.
this
Yeah.
Yeah,
whole
they're cult
scene
classics,
are
right.
That's what I'm
very-
saying. Yeah, like they're not like what would be like
The
a,
fucking Beatles.
like Foo Fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Fighters.
it's not like that where like if you were like, oh, Foo Fighters, I'd be like, okay, well I know what that is. Like some of these, like the only one that I knew there was the Pixies, to be honest. Like, and that's cool
I'll
because
send you some stuff.
You should check
Yeah,
out
you
every
should.
single-
I got like a playlist.
Yeah, you should check out every single one of them.
Yeah, and we're always sending local bands back and forth.
I listen to so much
Honestly-
goddamn local music now. Like ever
Yeah.
since like I started playing on the scene in my last band, I've been exposed to like so much genuine, like non-watered down. Like I mean, you know, I went through a phase, of course, where I like the Foo Fighters, but now when I listen to them, it's like so like
Radio rock.
unsatisfying, like or was it dissatisfying? Whatever the correct word
Yeah.
is. I'm not satisfied.
got
I am not.
and I don't think like I'm not like I don't think there's anything wrong with what they do. I like their music as
And
well.
that first album, fire.
Yeah.
But
That's Dave.
Just did.
but there are like
I'll give Taylor some.
rare, more known bands that tend to stay like playing, like, or rather making good stuff. You know, like for example, like I was actually like really into Coldplay, and then I feel like they just dropped off for me. Like after the third album, I was like, oh well, that's it. They're
This is
done.
going back. This is why the Pixies are so good. It doesn't matter. I can listen to the Pixies whenever,
Did
however.
you hear their new album?
I
It
did.
just- it's
I
just
actually liked
fucking-
it. The first two songs I don't like, but like the rest of it, I was like,
He's
this is
kept
pretty
up with
cool.
them
The
more.
2016 album was awesome. I thought, like Head Carrier, if you've heard that one.
I didn't like it too much.
Really? So
Yeah.
we're on totally different sides then, because their newest one to me, like, didn't really scratch that itch.
Really?
Yeah. I
So,
felt like
dude-
I felt like I kept waiting for it to get better, and then it was like over.
Okay, so then let's talk about this then.
Okay.
So I think the main thing I don't like about their new stuff, I think the songwriting is like fine or good rather. I don't like the way they're recording their music. It sounds too polished for the Pixies.
Yeah, for me it's just, I don't know, like, I guess anticlimactic would be the word.
Okay.
Like even like
That's fair.
individual songs, I was like, man, like I feel like it never got like the poppy Pixies or like the weird Pixies.
Like at some point you're like, okay, a song in between these two
yeah.
satisfy that kind of need, and then
Yeah.
sometimes they
like I don't know.
kind of.
I feel you. I
Doolittle's
can
my
understand.
favorite though.
Doolittle's your favorite?
I don't think I've even listened to any 21st Century Pixies.
It's
Yeah, neither have I. I mean, aside from Head Carrier, you showed me a little bit of that.
Indie City is good. I feel that's
That's
a good
got a
like,
few
EP.
songs.
Yeah,
Green
That's-
Blues.
Greens. I like that song. Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, I don't like that song. Never mind.
Now that I thought about it,
I was
shit.
thinking about a different song. But no, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay, so this is, and maybe I don't know. We might have to take this question out. But how do you guys feel about drugs and music?
Let's do them.
Like, like how do you feel? Because this is actually the first time I ever asked this question. And I mean any drug. It can be cigarettes, it can be caffeine, it can be alcohol, it can be other substances. But like how do you feel like the combination of it? Like for myself personally, like for the past maybe like our album, the stuff I've been doing recently for like 5 years.
It's not a time. 5 years.
5 years has all been like not necessarily creating songs, but like rather recording it and like mixing it and stuff like that. It's pretty much all been under the influence, at least a little bit. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't know, like, what do you think about that? And performing as well, usually. At
So,
least a couple beers.
all right, so I'll knock on the performing one because we actually had this
had
conversation
conversations about
as a band the other day.
Yeah.
Pretty much after our Lucky You show.
Yeah. So we played
Which we're sorry for, by the way.
we played a show at Lucky You.
4-part intervention.
Mostly me.
And all of us got pretty shit faced before that show.
Really?
And then like
Lots of
wasn't
gin and tonics in
great.
the
yeah,
parking lot.
we played it and then we left and we're like, oh yeah, we had a good time, it was sweet. And then
We had a friend that videotaped the whole thing.
like did like a really good job and we had it set up and everything. So we were like, oh, you know what, we'll get like hammered beforehand, so like we'll put on a good show for the video thing. But, like,
We did. Blake was laying on the floor. We were rowdy as shit.
I was laying on the floor.
but it was still one of those where
Fitting.
we're like afterwards seeing it in hindsight we're like it felt
It was
bad, you know, like,
real
we-
sloppy.
We didn't really like give it our all, even though like we.
I mean, it was hype, but it wasn't like.
Yeah, a lot of
good
people
hype.
were getting into it and stuff, but since then, every show's been significantly tighter.
So the show after that, we played in Lakeland, and we're like, "Hey guys, let's try
but a
this."
very different venue.
Yeah.
It was
True.
a totally different vibe. It was called Union Hall.
Oh, okay, cool.
Really cool venue.
But
Really?
it was,
Yeah.
but they had like these big round tables like this
Like dinner
size,
table,
like
yeah.
you know, 8 people sit around and like multiples of them, stages up like 3-4 feet above everything. You know, so it was like a very different feel than like Lucky You, where our friends are like right on top of us, where we can get a little, you know,
Yeah.
But
get a little riled up and.
so we tried like not drinking before one of the shows, and like we're like,
Oh no, I think we drank. I think
They
we
just
drank.
drank.
Well, I mean, okay, fine.
Drank less.
But yeah, like not heavy,
Like a beer
like had like a
too,
beer,
yeah.
like you had like you know like a drink
Yeah.
to like
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone's
kinda
just a
like
little bit
loosen the
more
nerves.
careful.
yeah, but it was like you know let's take it easy.
Did
And
it
then-
go better?
Yeah, then after the show we're like we played great, like wow, like what a like
That's actually.
you know,
I
like,
won't tell this
whoa,
story.
like yeah, we're like wow, we wow, like, we,
Redacted.
like not drinking as much, playing better, like oh, who would have thought like this novel thing.
Yeah.
So like as of like since that show, pretty much we've been trying to like cool it on the getting shit faced before shows.
Yeah.
Because it's also tough because like we're all like a good group of friends too, and like honestly, as self-destructive as it is, but what I like to do with my buddies is get drunk.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean, so it's hard to like.
Damn, Nick, it's 2020.
I'm telling you, man,
Yeah.
one of those 300 milligram Bang Energies and like 2 Cialis, and you're playing the tightest show of your fucking life, man.
But,
Seriously. I was running out of
What
breath.
flavor Bang? Does it make a difference?
I don't-
Champagne.
I don't think so. Champagne.
Champagne Supernova.
Champagne.
Champagne.
ugh, just kidding.
I mean obviously I agree with that. I mean we've definitely had our our shows where we were too fucked up for them and that I mean the last one I feel like happened like that was when we first moved here. We had a show like that and we were just sloppy. It was terrible and
How long have you guys lived here now?
we've been here since 2012. No. Yeah, 2011. Yeah.
Oh, right. So
Yeah.
you're locals.
I guess, yeah, but that's why, like, when I was mentioning earlier, like, I honestly feel like we just, like, kind of, like, popped into the scene.
Yeah.
Because before we were very, like, antisocial.
Yeah.
And it took us, like, a long time to kind of, like, get out of that. Because, like, what we used to do, and not that, my personality hasn't changed at all. I just was very nervous and very anxious to talk to people. So, like, what we would do is, like, we'd play a show and we would just go to the back and then just hang out in the back until, like, the show
Dude,
was
it's all
over.
about. I mean, one of my favorite parts about going to shows is like the everyone that's there. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like whenever I'll go to one of those local shows just alone because I know I'll run into 15 people that I know and
That's how I met Blake initially.
Yeah.
Was just he kept showing up at shows I was playing
That's
and like getting into the music and genuinely like listening to it, and when the music's going, pushing people around, having a good time, trying to really perperpetuate the scene.
We had a wild night at the Benz one time before we became a band. That was nuts. I ran into Dylan. I don't even know if you were playing that night. Were you?
No, I wasn't.
I was there to see
just
something.
having
No,
fun.
the girl
I was going to a
hanging
Fever
out
Beam
with
show there, I
kind
think.
of was.
It was a Fever Beam show, I believe.
Yeah, I think Fever Beam was.
And yeah, man, I went there and Dylan's like, I said what up to him. I saw him and he's like, dude, our bands are playing a show at Lucky You together next week. Take a shot with me. And he was like,
Yeah,
all right.
I was by
And
myself, so I saw a familiar
when he
face
says
and
by
I was like-
himself, what he means is like with 3 other women. And so he gets this chick to like buy shots and PBRs from
No,
us.
here's what happened.
No.
We were
This is what happened. Okay, so we go in there and he hands me the drinks, right? And I see him like whisper to this chick, and then he immediately like turns to me. He's like, "Dude, leave, go." And then we both like just hightail it out the front of that. I was like, "What the hell is that, man?
Possible.
What the hell happened there?" He's like, "Dude, I forgot her name like fully."
Oh.
Oh no, that was very true.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the end.
Yeah, no.
version
So
of
the
story.
bar was packed, and there was no way I was getting a drink. I'd been waiting there for like 20
But
minutes.
she totally bought
There's
it
these
for
2
us.
girls
Wasn't
like
us.
sitting in front of us, and they like order, and they like get their order taken immediately, and I was like, "Man, you guys got your order taken immediately." They're like, "We'll order for you," and I was like, "Awesome." So they're like, "Hey, we need one more drink," and they like got me a drink, and I saw Blake, and I was like, "Shots," and we got that and stuff. And I was like, cool. And then there was some music going on in the back, so we venture out into the back and we watch some music. And
Dude, you know what I just remembered?
what?
I got so drunk at that show that night that I let our buddy Trevor tattoo a taco on my ass cheek.
Let's see it.
All right. I got.
We can
I'll
post
continue
we can
the
post
story.
A photo. We
All
can
right. We'll post a
of it.
photo. Look, it's gonna be like right.
No.
We could actually do that.
No, but so we go catch some drink or catch some music, and then we wander back to the bar. It's like closing time, and like I go to close my tab, and they're like, "You don't have a tab open," and I was like, "What?"
What are you talking about? Yeah.
And they're like, "Check your wallet. Do you have
crazy.
your license or your card?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah." And then they're like, "I think those two girls were buying your drinks all night."
Did
I was
they
like,
know?
"What?" I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like I thought they were just like yelling for me, and I had started a tab or something. I was already kind of drunk by the time I had gotten to the Benz. I'd started earlier at Hideaway.
Yeah. You're bar.
It was a night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's crazy. Well, so like going like literally that like that's something more I guess that.
So that's why it was so funny when I like replied to Blake's Craigslist ad months later.
And
Literally 20
like,
minutes after I sent the email, I just did a text message saying, "Oh, fucking Dylan, it's Blake from Longfinger here. It's my Craigslist ad." And I was like, "Oh, I'll see you in like 2 hours for your show."
That's dope, man. Like that's, I guess like seeing Blake. I've seen Blake a lot too at shows, and I remember like literally like on Facebook his name would pop up, and I'd be like, I know that guy. I've seen that guy like so many times, and it literally like this is very recent where like I'm kind of come out of my shell, or we have rather, and like been decided like, oh, we need to go watch shows. I love that shit now. Like I love going out and just like going out to a venue and just being like, I don't even know who's playing per se. I just want to go see what's going on, and it's it's fun. But it did take me a while. I don't know. I have this weird paranoia that something bad's gonna happen all the time.
What are the bands?
No, just in general. Just in my
That's a
life.
good question though at the Benz,
Just in my life.
because that would
Just in
be
my
where it
life.
would happen.
Chances go up.
Same.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're at the
but-
Benz, something bad. might
And then
happen.
also like the point that you made about knowing people, like obviously like being newcomers here, like we didn't know anybody, so it was like we'd have to meet
Dude,
them.
we're all newcomers at some point.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
You're right. You're totally right.
I kind of wanted to make it like a sexual joke there, but it didn't work out. We're all newcomers.
Yeah.
You know, like there was something
There should have
there.
been something to work
There
with
was something there.
Yeah.
There was something there. Anyways,
Calm.
just come.
Next question.
Like, what's your thoughts on that question, though? The one that you raised about like the drugs and music. Like, how do you guys approach that?
I think personally for me, like, I think that it depends on it depends on what I'm doing. So I've noticed that I can have less like inhibitors when it comes to writing if I'm under the influence of something. Like I'll be more prone to try something new that I've never done before.
I can't agree more, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if I'm sober, I feel like I'll be like, nah, like that doesn't, like that's just too weird, or like that doesn't sound good.
It's like not weird enough.
Yeah, I like
Exactly.
music, and I like being impaired while making music.
Yeah.
And performing music.
So like in that sense, I feel like it helps me with that, and it changes like that whole perspective. Performing live, like I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like before any show I play, like I'm really nervous, I'm really anxious. Like a beer or two in, I feel a lot better. Which is I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. It's probably not a great thing, but
Dude, it's like 2 beers.
yeah, 2 beers exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great thing.
I'm relatively
Well,
responsible when it
yeah.
comes to like drinking and performing, but yeah, like that thing is like still like super prevalent where like I'm just really fucking nervous before performing, and even like meeting people and stuff like that. Like when I go out to shows, like that's tough. It's still tough for me. Like I do it just because I know like nothing's bad. Like even if I have an awkward moment with somebody, like it's okay. That's just it's not a big deal. But like definitely like alcohol helps a lot with that. Helps me not give as much of a fuck.
So you get a little bit of like stage.
No, I don't have
Fright.
stage fright. I just have like
People, right?
people fright, and I guess like
I feel that.
like pre performance fright. Like I'm not when I'm on
Yeah.
stage, I'm totally fine. But it's like it's like I guess like trying to like build to it. You know what I'm saying? Like I just want to fucking do it already.
Yeah.
You know?
What about?
See, I was that way
performance?
for a long time, and then I got in like a regimen, like show days. I try to get like a little bit of sun, like go outside for a little bit, sit by the pool, whatever. Eat a good solid meal. Like I try to just be like healthy.
Same.
Listen to like Velvet
ritual
Underground and just like zone out for a little bit.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than like going to a show and you have like an upset stomach or something. You know what I'm saying? Like
That was me with that show.
You and I, we got sushi in Lakeland, and then like
Oh, the spaghetti wrestling
Yeah,
show.
spaghetti wrestling show.
That was a wild weekend. Holy shit.
we like went and got sushi, and then like later on that night, like Blake was like at my house all day, and then like we're getting ready to go to the show.
Yeah, me and Dan both felt like
Lakeland,
shit.
Tampa, or Orlando, Gainesville, a raunchier weekend.
They're both fucking raunchy.
But either way, yeah, a lot of experience playing
Redacted.
playing with a busted gut.
yeah.
That was nuts.
And honestly, though, like I think I've told my band this is sometimes I think that's made me play better, because if you're like
Didn't you say you play
Focus.
better when you like have to pee?
Yeah, Dan's always like, I gotta piss so bad. I'm just
Really?
gonna hold it in. I'll play
'cause,
faster
like,
if I gotta pee.
That's it's like a thing where like I don't know, like
It's like that gotta
I-
pee anxiousness, you know?
Yeah,
Goes
it's
right
like,
to the four times.
Yeah, it's like a weird like focusing where it's like diverts focus, so that way I'm not too like into playing or like too into like I gotta go use the bathroom.
I'm the
It's just,
opposite,
like,
dude. I feel like if I hit a wrong note, I'll like pee myself or something. You know?
Yeah, that's kind of like for me. I'm like more afraid of I'm like anxious to think
Well,
like
you
if
guys
I have to use the bathroom, I'm like if I fucking take a shit while I'm performing, like that'll be the end of my life.
See, I've
Do
done
you know what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah, I thought
I
that'd
piss
be
once
awesome.
a day and I piss down.
Crazy. See, I'm the opposite. I'm the
story.
kind of guy that like
terrible.
will duck off in the
piss,
middle
like,
of a
twice a day.
podcast filming and go pee.
but also like you guys are like just the physicality of playing, like I'm the drummer, man. I'm sitting down, so it's, I think it's easier. You guys are standing up, so you're like moving more. Like I'm just.
I don't know. I feel like your body like recognizes that you're sitting down and is like, oh, it's time to use the bathroom right now.
I don't know, like
Yeah.
some like
You know what I'm saying?
The best times that I think I played, I've either had to go to the bathroom really bad or I've been really hungover.
That's fucking crazy to me.
I don't know.
Do you think it's because you end up putting more effort into focusing on like, okay, I feel like shit, so let me make sure to do
They're
this
like,
right?
I'm gonna do this. Yeah,
That's
like,
so funny.
It's like a weird like.
That would make sense.
I mean, shit. Maybe you should play hungover more often then. No.
Book more shows on Sunday.
I'll say I'll make an attempt. How about that?
No, I've done that shit too, man. We played on a float one time in Fort Lauderdale, and we were hungover, and that was literally like the worst ever. It was the worst feeling. Like we were moving too.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
Yep,
dude,
yep,
it was
yep, yep,
awful.
yep.
Like I wanted to throw up.
That would have been cool though. I feel like people would have like
If I threw up?
You're just like.
Yeah, I guess I would have.
That'd be
Yeah,
fucking cool.
I would have added to the.
GG Allen shit.
roll.
Yeah, if you like played through it too. And
Yeah,
then
I'd be like,
afterwards, like
dude, that guy's on heroin.
Sick.
Sick, dude. He's fucking Kurt Cobain. Well, yeah, that's kind of that. Those are kind of all the questions I have. I think we're definitely past an hour. I've had to cut in and out of this fucking thing, but I guess like before you go, no, you know what? I'll do it. If you, you know what?
You make up your mind.
Do me a
Just do it.
favor and
We're
send
the
me.
trainouts and you're watching the Disney Channel.
Just send me plugs so I can do that in the intro video.
But just stop this and do it.
Yeah. But thank you guys for coming. House of I podcast. Stay tuned for. Oh, this is gonna come out afterwards, so never mind. But yeah.
We're the drainouts.
For the drain outs.
the drain outs.
Oh, and also we're performing together.
Hold on, the drain outs.
The Drainouts. We're performing together November 23rd with Mold from Miami. So, fuck yeah, at the Hub.
At the Hub
Yeah.
in downtown Tampa.
Yeah.
Drinks are cheap.
Hey, November
23rd.
23rd. House of I. The drainouts.
Hold on, the drain outs. I don't know if they.
Old.
Look us up on
Make sure they
on
know.
all
The Hub.
streaming stuff. We have 2 songs out. Oh wait, was that the plug that we're supposed to
Yeah, I'll do that in the beginning.
Oh
yeah.
man, we didn't talk about our EP at all. We have an EP.
I'll mention
When are we
all
putting
that
that
stuff.
out?
Soon.
Are we meeting at the studio tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right,
What time?
later, guys.
See ya.